in the group going into last year's selection show was not ideal, having lost in the semis. So I wanted to try to reach for some luck. I got the lucky underwear. This is one of my lucky hats.
Number 1 overall seed. How's that for a target?
That's we already got played the whole year with the big target, but I think this time of year, once that selection show's over, everything is just meaningless now. It's matchups, it's who you're playing, it's win that next game. Everyone's just trying to survive and advance, win and advance in this tournament. So, I just think a lot of extra motivational things, that maybe exist during a regular season go out the window when you get to this time of year, because everyone's given their absolute best to keep their season going.
Dan, you mentioned last year being frustrated coming off of the semifinal loss, but you guys obviously handled that well and handled it differently than you did the year before. You kind of moved on from it. Now you're riding this wave of almost unprecedented success. How do you kind of compartmentalize what you've done and now what you're about to do?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely feel lighter. I think that the staff and the players do. It's heavy to play at UConn. We don't have the. I'm not even sure if it is a benefit to fly under the radar, because sometimes if you're in a program that flies under the radar, eventually you're going to get to a pressure point in a big game. And the benefit of playing and coaching at UConn is the expectations are so high, so the pressure's always on. So going into NCAA tournament games, I think we wear the pressure well now, and do what we did last year and having the season we've had this year. I think there's a confidence about us. Obviously, we're vulnerable like any other team in the country when we don't play to our identity. But I think we're a more joyful group going into this tournament than we were last year.
Anything jump out as your side of the bracket? The teams. I mean, I know you don't want to look too down the road too far. But.
Yeah, it's tough. I know I saw a couple teams that we were in the Final Four with last year. Stetson's excellent offensive team, excellent three-point shooting team. Blackman, one of the better guards, that we'll have played against, this year. So, it didn't do us. I don't think any favors. Certainly, every game in this tournament now with COVID, extra year, transfer portal, every game in this tournament's tough.
Only 3 bids for the Big East. You spoke on it a little bit last night, but now seeing it actually happen, what does that make you feel?
I think you're probably just a little embarrassed for the league, for such a proud league, and you just you'd really, it just becomes one of those things where you'll hear from the selection committee and they'll talk about net, but then other teams in our league had better Ken Palms, but then we looked at neutral. It's the whole thing is just kind of a shell game, and it just really comes down to what the committee, what the committee values. To me, I don't understand how a Providence team could beat, Wisconsin in the non-conference. Creighton, Marquette, and have those quality of wins and then not get in. How does Seton Hall do what they did in the second-rated conference in the country, win 13 games and not get in? How is St. John's so far off of the cut line to get in? But I say this a lot too, though. When we do Big East awards and all those different things, the Big East season starts in November. It doesn't start when conference play starts. It's we've got to win big non-conference games, and everyone across the board, the league up and down has got to be strong.
I feel good for a guy like Cam who's played all these years, and he wouldn't even watch it last
tired,
year.
everybody.
But he didn't even watch the tournament last year because he was so upset not being in it. So do you feel good that someone like Cam?
Yeah, I think it's just a great experience for the younger players, and then obviously these are things we talked about with Cam when we recruited him in that short, portal window. Was that this we've played to this point exactly what we envisioned if he came here as an addition to what we already knew was in place. So, you want all of your players to feel what it feels like to play at top of college basketball in terms of the environments, the accomplishments, all those things.
Dan, was it right back to work this morning for you and your team, or did you celebrate until the selection show? Basically?
Yeah, we stayed over, and we elected to stay over and let these guys get some sleep rather than those getting in at 2:30 a.m.'s hurt. But we just broke down some of the mistakes from the last two games. Obviously, the defense and the rebounding, in particular, defense in the St. John's game and the rebounding in both games were incredibly disappointing. So there was a lot there, a lot that's not going to work on Friday in this tournament. We've got to get fully back to our identity. I think, obviously, our offense is excellent. There's a reason why it's the number one offense in the country, but we're vulnerable if our defense and rebounding and our attention to detail isn't where we need it to be, and it wasn't for parts of the last two games.
Dan, you talk a lot all year about wanting to get 8 deep in terms of the rotation. Do you feel like the way Jalen stepped up, maybe you've been there for a little bit now, and I know Solo's contributed to it, but do you feel like you're there now with at least the 8?
I mean, Stewie earned his wings there, and I think I think it's a great story, and it's a great lesson, and it's opened up other opportunities for us too now for these next couple of days. Now we've got more confidence in him that we can find a way to have him on the court with Alex and a center, and scheme some things so that it's not him or Alex on the court potentially if he's playing well. So because Alex is maybe the most important player on the team.
The championship core, Donovan and Alex and everything. How important are those guys going to be in the tournament run this year?
I mean, we are going to completely lock in on the Stetson team, and we are obsessive with the way that we approach our preparation for our opponents and the respect that we show, and just how hard we're going to play and how hard we're going to prepare for this first game on Friday. There's, there will be an incredible level of desperation with the way that we prepare for for a dangerous opponent that can really score the ball on Friday, and nothing that we did this year is going to help us on Friday, except the habits, the mindset, the identity. But our accomplishments aren't going to do much for us moving forward.
You talked about the reset that happens between the Big East and the NCAA. What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, I think for us here, we played the extra day. We had a really grueling game on Saturday. So we lose the benefit of that extra day of rest, which we had last year, and we obviously looked really fresh. Sometimes losing earlier in the conference tournament, does a little bit for you, physically, but we'll mentally prepare and do some light work on the court tomorrow, and then really ramp up our intensity as we prepare to play our absolute best game on Friday.
Dan, how much has Simon to this season? He seems to be a fixer in a lot of ways. He's played a really efficient season.
I mean, look what we got last year from from Naheem and Joey off the bench, and on the perimeter. Joey brought so much life and swagger, and Naheem was an excellent defender. So at times Haas has brought a little bit of both. He's brought some great defense, and then he's also brought some splash on offense for us. So you can only do this with depth. This type of season we've had, depth with our starters, and then Haas has just been what we hoped he'd be. Is that as a transfer, and that's why we struggled so much when he was a high school player. Are we making a mistake by not recruiting him right now? And it's just great to get him in the portal.
Thoughts on that Brooklyn, hopefully Boston route? Is there a challenge that comes with it when the guys don't have that shock to the system of getting on a plane, or kind of how do you approach that?
I think we're a mature program at this point. I think we've had enough tough losses this year at Creighton, at Seton Hall, who beat the number one overall seed in the tournament by 15 and didn't get in, and won 13 conference games. and then they also beat the 2 seed too. Which is crazy, but now I'm forgetting the question. But it's a mature group. We understand that we make ourselves very vulnerable if we're not on point. Dominant rebounding, dominant defense, offense for each other. Know the opponent like we know ourselves almost as well, and be the hardest playing team on the court.
Is there anything you do differently when you don't have to travel, though?
I think it's smoother. We've got our routines and some things. I'm the king of superstitions, so obviously there's a lot of things that the group's going to have to prepare for that way. All my idiosyncrasies that way. So I think you just maybe sometimes it's a benefit to go away because there's like less family around and stuff. But nowadays with NIL, probably one of the best benefits besides players, have an opportunity to learn about money and how to handle money is now families are able to travel and get to see their sons and grandsons and play in these games because of the NIL money. So there's a lot of family around now all the time, which is so different than it was.
You've mentioned a couple times this year that you're better suited as a non-conference NCAA tournament type of team than a Big East team. So you feeling more confident now that you're back in that?
I believe
realm?
that. I believe that about us. I believe that about us at both ends of the court. And we're not a mauling team. We're a movement team. We play incredibly hard, and we're athletic, and we've got length. And some of the games in the Big East are not to our benefit when it turns into a wrestling match. Which it turns into a lot. And if you're not allowed to do that in the NCAA tournament, if referees allow that to go on, they generally don't advance to the next round of the tournament. So I think especially the early rounds, they call a lot, which we're deep and we love the freedom of movement.
Do you have any more artwork to show us?
I'm working on one right now. Obviously, Kamani's got his and Luke has his from last year, and everyone in here knows how personal Tom takes things. So he's waiting for his. So hopefully he'll get it before the tournament starts. Been working on it for a while. It's gonna be a masterpiece.
Have you always been superstitious, like ever since you started coaching?
Yeah, definitely. I have. It's grown and it's gotten overwhelming. The amount of things I've got going, but it also. It's like watching Rafa Nadal. It could be maddening to watch him before he would serve. All the different things he does, with the wristband, the towel, and everything. But I think it's some people like me that very intense. God bless you. It's some of those kind of routines. They just kind of make you feel comfortable and relaxed and in the best state of mind.
Looking at you on the towel like Tark, huh?
No. I don't really. Once the game starts, most of my stuff that goes on, the only thing is with free throws. I'll try some different things, with free throws. I won't tell you what they are now. You have something to look for. But I'll stand in a certain way or do some different things. If we make it, I'll go back to it. If we miss it, I'll try something else. I got a bunch of things when we're shooting free throws.
Have you ever gotten out to the bench for a game and realized you forgot to do something?
Yeah, I forgot my glasses. The Providence game, I have my mushroom blend coffee about 2 hours before the game, and then I have my bulletproof with the with coconut oil during the game, and the tip at Providence. Cam Spencer knocked the ball off my coffee and knocked it over. That threw me. That's why we started so bad. That put me into a tailspin. I didn't even call offense or defense the next two possessions. I was just trying to get somebody to get me a coffee.
Do you think that? Oh, obviously it must work because you're winning a lot, right? Your routine.
Yeah. And now it's like again the MeUndies has got to step up right now for the Husky Ticket Project. I'll say it again, and hopefully they'll respond to something here. But the Wolves will be retired. They had an unbelievable Big East campaign. You will not see the Wolves until next Big East season. Obviously now the Dragons come back here, and the Dragons have earned another opportunity in the big dance here.